Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you've tuned in to another live edition of the LockerGnome Daily Report. Today, we've got some jokesters in the background. This is the chat over on Twitch. I am streaming gaming and game-related things on my Twitch profile, and keeping the chat open 24/7. So you can be a patron if you want. Head over to chrispirillo.com for more information on that, or become a subscriber and be able to join chat 24/7. So I'm basically everywhere. And that's what I do. I live online. So TLDR, the LockerGnome Daily Report, largely related to tech. Today, for everybody, this is the free part of TLDR, because if you want the tech news views, me diving in deeper to the tech news, and answering questions from the people who are watching live, then you got to become a patron. So this is your free review of the Moto 360, which, by the way, I gave to the patrons, not as a video, but as a bullet-pointed list, a few weeks ago. So you could have had my Moto 360 review ahead of time, as well as other reviews ahead of time, and some of them even exclusives. More information on how to become a patron at chrispirillo.com, separate from becoming a subscriber on Twitch. Does that make sense? Okay, well, if that doesn't make sense, maybe my review of the Moto 360 will make sense. Here I have it in my hands. I have used it. I would be hesitant to recommend it to everybody. Keep in mind that my experience, and everybody seems to have a different experience, was somewhat shaped by another experience in having used the Apple Watch for quite some time. I never really considered myself a watch wearer or a watch fan. I keep wearing the Apple Watch, even though I'm not really paying attention to the health settings. I think that's the biggest advantage of a smartwatch. I don't know if I would say that I'm an enthusiast when it comes to gadgets in general, or certainly when it comes to smart watches. So I wanted to set the stage. I wanted to be clear about that before I continue with my review. First thing I'm going to go through are the things that I liked. And by the way, the unboxing of the Moto 360 has already been posted. That was live for everybody. So you can't sit there and say, well, I didn't get to see it. Yes, you did. You did, and now you're getting to see this. Relatively simple setup. I was actually very impressed with this. I had a chance to get a hold of the Moto 360 as well as the Moto X Pure, which was really pure-ish. I had a chance to customize this. So in terms of what I got, I was happy enough, because out of the options that were available to me, I thought this would be the one that I would want the most, this particular Moto 360, because there are very different configurations, sizes and bands, etc. Keep that in mind. But in terms of a setup, getting this connected to the Moto X Pure Edition at least, and assumedly any other Android device that's out there that would support the Android Wear app, it was simple. It was very straightforward. I did not have an issue with it. If I had an issue with the setup, it would be that Android Wear is not baked into Android, like Google Play services, or it's got to be a separate app. It's not like there, just waiting to get turned on. And that's something that you might have with the Apple Watch, whereas you have the app that you can't get rid of. It's like this constant advertisement for you to get an Apple Watch. On that's iOS though. But in terms of the actual setup, the process, getting it up and running, very, very simple. And I liked that as far as, a software setup is concerned. Having Google on your wrist is nifty. And it's really a breath of fresh air. Again, not being a smartphone kind of guy, I have grown to not like Siri. I think it's the nicest way of putting it. Google does not run Siri. Google has nothing to do with Siri. They've got the ability to say, hey, Google. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, wait, no, it's not hey, Google. I'm glad I said it that way, because I could have tripped someone's Google out there. I don't want to trip your Googles, by the way. If I did, I apologize for that. But it's kind of neat, because, we use Google to search for a lot of things, and that's something that you can't necessarily get as easily on any other device apart from Android Wear. So that was really kind of neat to have Google on my wrist. It's kind of unique. And I wouldn't even say that uniqueness, necessarily wore off. Granted, not having network connectivity on the watch itself kind of makes it a bit difficult to actually step through the process of being connected. But FYI, there is iPhone support. So it's great if you're tethered to an Android phone, but with iOS app functionality being limited, at least it's something. It's a step in the right direction. Remember, Google is a horizontal player, Apple's a vertical player. That's something that I've talked about at length in other videos, over the years. So I, understood that Google could continue to iterate the iOS Android Wear app, but honestly, without an Android phone, you're not in the market. I'll tell you, even if you liked, this design for Android Wear, you would not be in the market for an Android Wear watch unless you have an Android phone on you 24/7. Or at least, when you need to connect to it. Because otherwise, it's a watch. That's what's neat. And by the way, I'm getting to the reason why I don't have the band on the watch. Don't worry. I will explain that. I'm not exactly sure what my little peanut gallery back here is saying. But, oh, yeah, there's the patrons. Very nice. Okay. That's cool. I'm reading chat, too. I missed that. I missed it so much. That's on the Twitch profile there. I felt that it had above average customization options at order time. As I mentioned, I customized this, given the opportunity to be able to use an Android Wear. This was truly my first Android Wear experience. I'd only seen it in the past. I think Jesus Chavez, when I ran into him, or we met up at Star Wars Celebration, had an Android Wear. I'm not sure which one he was wearing. But I remember thinking, man, that's big. I think it was a Samsung. It was just big. This is relatively big too, certainly in comparison to my Apple Watch. Some people really like the circular design. I found that the screen, I didn't mind the screen at all necessarily. Like, when I needed to look at something, it felt vibrant. It felt bright. I didn't feel like it was a challenge to see anything. I felt that it was sharp enough. The text, the imagery, I like the fact that it's circular hardware. That's cool. That's kind of neat too. And I gotta say that I like the hardware component. I like this component itself. Abstract the software. Forget about the software for a second. This itself. Without the software, I like this. Okay, so now getting into the things that I don't like. This is not a 360. I know you could argue, as could Motorola, that this is the Moto 360. It is, demonstrably, the Moto 360. But it's more like, as in the Moto X Pure Edition, or Pure-ish. This is the Moto 360-ish. Because I'm at a loss for words, honestly. I don't understand how this made it out of quality control. This sad to say, this is something that I've come to expect from Apple software engineering anymore. But see the bottom of that watch there? See how, okay, so I've got the LCARS interface for my time and data and everything. But, and by the way, it flips into power saving mode there. That's why you see the toggle. It goes to this black and white version of the clock. Well, the problem is, there we go, I'll get the motion sensor. See how it's cut off at the bottom? It's nice and round all the way around except for the bottom. And then it's like it's a flat tire. Ew! Ew! Like, if your gadget looks better when it's off, it really, it's this, that to me is disgusting. This is disgusting. Mind you, this is a man I'm saying it looks disgusting. I haven't showered yet today. I'm still wearing my Kylo Ren shirt that I unboxed yesterday with the Funko Smuggler's Bounty Box. I've been, let me explain. I've been trying to get Twitch set up and trying to stream things better, and I have to use a PC, so I had to get Windows configured and connected to the Xbox so I could mirror streaming on the Xbox, getting my Elgato capture card to work so I could capture chat inside the video. Because of the way I wanted to do it, it was just, it was messy. I set up Air Server on Windows to try to get that to work okay, to be able to bring in iOS, so I may be streaming iOS to Windows later by way of the Elgato software. I mean, it's just, you know what? I've gone overboard to try to make things work. And so I have not showered. My hygiene has taken a backseat to configuring things. And here's the thing. I don't know when I'm going to shower today. It'll happen. before I go to bed, I hope, because tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Okay, so back to this. I wanted to set the context, right? You know, I'm sitting there saying this is disgusting, but yet I haven't showered. Okay, so now you know where, you know, I sit. You don't want to be where I sit right now. Anyway, yikes. That is horrible. That's a joke. To me, that's a joke. That's horrific. How anybody could put up that is beyond me. I found the reason why I took the band off. So here's the band here. It's got metal links because I thought, oh, cool, metal links. All right, that's neat. That looked like the one that I wanted the most. The problem is, in order to get the metal links adjusted, you need to take it into a watch repair person or a jeweler. And I'm like, I'll just take it off. Because what am I going to do? Wear 2 smartwatches? Hello. No. I wanted to. I was going to, you know, test it that way, but no. Nice band. Wonderful band. And, you know, if you're into, you know, going to a jeweler or watch adjuster person, you can. I didn't want to. I was like, really? Yeah. I didn't like it. So what did I do? I took it off. Why would I take it off? Well, because I think that outright, this is okay if, and only if, you set it inside the charging cradle. And I like the charging cradle. Actually, I missed that part. I like this. Because basically you set it in, you plug it in by way of a micro USB connector, and it charges. So if you need to charge it. But then if you flip it up like this and just let it sit there on the desk, it's a nice little desk watch clock thing. And it doesn't look horrible necessarily, minus the little flat tire effect. So I thought this was passable for me. And then, of course, I could still, you know, operate it by swiping across and getting notifications and stuff like that. And it was fine for the most part. I thought, like, you know, in terms of the navigation, you know, having Google on the wrist and being able to swipe across. Obviously, I'm not using the heart monitor or anything like that, having it sit on the desk. The software was, you know, clean as far as Android went. It wasn't as intuitive as I would have liked it to have been. So, clean design, minus the little flat tire effect. But in terms of navigability, I got to tell you, Apple kind of spoiled me with the watch. Not to say that I think performance was necessarily better on the Apple Watch than the Android Wear, but how do you measure performance that way? Because trust me, Apple Watch drops frames left and right, so I can't say that, you know, Apple's got the market cornered there. It was a decent software experience, not amazing, decent on the Android Wear. Clean design though, minus the flat tire on the Moto 360. Everything else was, you know, a clean design. You know, I also found that, again, and I got to do a comparison indirectly, well, or directly, having used the watch for some time, I found that the design of this screen wasn't as good. It was sunken in, like the imagery was sunken in, versus the Apple Watch, where it seems that the text and everything is right there on the surface. On here, you can definitely see that the text is not on the surface, or the graphics are not on the surface on the Android Wear. So that was something that it didn't concern me. It was just, you know, it made viewing angles a little challenging. Not that, you know, if I can't hold the watch like this and can't see it, that's less of an issue, because usually you're looking at your watch face straight on. But like I said, I was more inclined to keep it sitting on the desk like this without the band, just telling me what was going on with my world of Google. And I do believe you could also now, temporarily at least, google.com/Star Wars. I could get Android Wear Star Wars stuff, and I didn't. I got Star Trek, because it was there. I could download the watch face and install it. It was fun. I did note, as I said, the software experience. It was Android jittery. I guess that's the easiest way to explain it, but I said no worse than the Apple Watch. I'm just making sure I hit that point. Power saving features were a bit annoying. So, like, you know, I hold it up, and then it changes, and you can see it kind of goes to color there, and then it flashes back to this view, you know, until it detects motion. It's trying to save power. So that it was just sloppy. There was a lot of flashing. It reminded me of an e-ink display. Flash. I'm like, what is this? Windows 10? Flash. I seriously, to me, it's sloppy. It's sloppy. Not the power saving feature. I think that's great. But in terms of the transition to the power saving feature, it's sloppy. It really is. It's genuinely sloppy. Now, that would keep me from wearing it outright, like wanting it, recommending. It's just, bleh. I found that this particular size for me was bulky. I probably would have chosen a different size for me, but just keep that in mind. For me, this was a little too large for a smartwatch, and it's really it is larger surface-wise than the Apple Watch, but that's about as big of a watch that I might want on my wrist. I've discovered, and I didn't know that until I had it. Can't slag the size because some people have bigger hands, bigger wrists, want a bigger screen. I didn't. And I only discovered that after using this Moto 360-ish. I don't want to call it the Moto 360. It's a 360-ish. Seriously, I don't... I can't be the only one who's going, really? That's a final product there? So, who's this for? If you like Motorola, this could be for you. If you don't mind that flat tire effect really getting in your way, okay, then you could use it. If you're looking for Android wear, and the price is right, and the way it looks is right for you, well, then it is for you. So, the beauty of Android wear is there are how many different OEMs, different watch manufacturers, constantly announcing new ones. Although some of the Android wear watches that have been announced have subsequently been unannounced. Like, hey, we're gonna create this, and then they said, you know what, we can't create that. We're not gonna create that anymore. So it was like an announcement, non-announcement. Seriously, some Android wear OEMs are doing that. It's like, whoa. So you have options. I honestly, in terms of what I've seen in Android wear land, I would be hesitant to recommend this over others. And I have seen Android wear circular screen experiences that seem to be cleaner, like that they don't have the flat tire effect. So just keep that in mind. I was not bowled over by this device. Or I'll put it this way. It's designed to be worn on your wrist, but I want to keep it like that if I use it. If I need it. And I don't. You might. Maybe you're looking for this. The stand is seriously. I'll tell you this. They did the stand better than Apple did. I don't like how Apple just gives you a cable and I got to lay it flat on my nightstand. And then they have the Apple released a little stand. I know this is not about the Apple Watch, but I'm just again I'm trying to paint the picture like, well, he's only saying that because he likes Apple. No, just listen to me. Hear me out. Or actually listen to me more than one video or for more than 5 minutes. They released a stand that was terribly expensive. I'm not going to get. And it's like a puck. And it's like, it makes the cable look slightly better on your desk, but not really. I thought, honestly, this was better. Having a stand like this was far more intuitive. Motorola did a good job on the stand. This is the type of stand that I might want on my nightstand with my Apple Watch. So again, they made some really good decisions and they made some boneheaded decisions. It's a mixed bag. I mean, it's far from perfect. Okay, I am going to move on to Tech News Views with my patrons. I think I've talked about my feelings about the Moto 360-ish enough. Thank you for paying attention. If you want to listen to Tech News Views as well as me answering questions and interacting with people live, you can become a patron for more tech stuff. Head over to chrispirillo.com for more information. Today's free podcast highlight was brought to you by all of my active patrons from chrispirillo.com. If you want access to the full TLDR episodes, both audio, video, past, present, and future, which can be up to an hour long or longer, with even more tech insight from me every weekday, plus other bonus content without ads, and support me at the same time, you can sign up to become one of my supernomies too. This is just a brief taste of what I'm producing for you daily. Again, get more through chrispirillo.com.